Welcome back to the Human Flower Podcast, where we explore cyclical living, womb wisdom, feminine energy, dream medicine, and so much more. And today we are talking about the heart of women's wellness, the heart of our well-being. So if you know about me, maybe you've been listening to the podcast now, you know that I'm a women's wellness mentor and I'm really rooted in the practices of yoga and applying them in a feminized way. And so I hear a lot. I hear a lot from women, and I can honestly say that it's been a really common experience for me to hear from women through all stages of life how almost like traumatizing, and in some cases deeply traumatizing, the standardized Western medical system has been in their pelvic experiences. And in my mind, we can't talk about women's wellness without talking about our pelvic experiences, because so much of our lived experiences as women are pelvic centered. The pelvic bowl being like the seat of our sense of self, the root of our body and nervous system, the source of our creative power and confidence. The pelvic bowl houses the womb, the ovaries, the womb root or vagina, and a woman's relationship to this place in her body really sets the tone for her relationship to herself, to her life's work, to all others. And even further, this place in a woman's body is filled with emotion. So we can't talk about the pelvic bowl or the womb without talking about the heart. In TCM, or traditional Chinese medicine, which recognizes the meridians or energy lines that connect the whole body and that travel throughout the whole body, there is a line of energy, a channel of energy that directly connects the heart with the womb. In Tammy Kent's book, The Wild Feminine, she writes that a woman actually has two hearts because the womb's energy is so heart-like. So what does this mean? This means that in our pelvic experiences, there is a deep emotional connection and a deep connection to our heart energy. So this is why it saddens me when I hear women share their experiences that they've had with various healthcare providers, whether it was around their menstrual cycle, whether it was through their pregnancy and labor journey, postnatal experiences, menopause, whatever it may have been. Those pelvic experiences were often not being met with a full account of that woman's emotional life and her feeling about the experience. And yet we can't actually separate the two, right? The emotional from the embodied experience, they're one and the same. And if we do try to do that, as the standard system often does, at best we, help the body in a biological sense. But at worst, we can actually create or even worsen our traumatic responses, therefore increasing our need for even further healing. Now we have to heal from us trying to heal. So yeah, a woman's body is often not going to respond in an integrated, wholesome way to a purely biological approach to healing and wellness. The emotional experiences and the emotional center within her must be taken into account, and her heartfelt sense of her experiences as well. So in my experience of working with women in this way, like integrating the emotional energetic with the physical, so much richness and depth unfolds from that. And the body truly, truly responds so well to that emotional attention and support. In fact, sometimes, maybe even oftentimes, when there is a need for physical healing, it's actually rooted in a need for emotional healing or support. And that is true vice versa too. And so the heart of women's wellness today, I believe, is the fully integrated experience of working with the female body with emotional support and heartfelt compassion. Female bodies really, really respond to softness, gentleness, compassion. Oftentimes our bodies just want to be heard and given space to recover their own innate rhythm and to recover their own sense of balance. Our body is nature, right? So it's coded, it's encoded with the intelligence to know how to bring itself back to balance. So if all we're doing is taking this biological approach and going into the body, poking, prodding, pathologizing, naming all of the things that we deem wrong, it makes it very difficult for that woman's body to actually find its own innate capacity to heal. And it's been my personal experience in my own body that given the compassionate space with the experienced guidance, the body actually does remember how to recover balance, and the body does know how to heal. We're incredibly wise. And I think there's also another aspect of this that's worth talking about. There is definitely a need for a better understanding of what the female body actually needs in all the different stages of a woman's life, from puberty, through her menstruating years, through the cycles of pregnancy and postnatal healing, menopause, and beyond. A lot of these female experiences have been pathologized and deemed in need of fixing, when actually what we've really been needing is just a better understanding of what has been happening in the many layers of that woman's experience and what she personally needs as support. Like what's actually going to help long term. And from the energetic point of view, and our North American culture isn't quite set up to support the female body as it is, right? Like we wear shoes, sometimes high heels, we sit in chairs, we live fast-paced, linear lives, we demolish massive areas of land and pave it with cement. And I think we undermine how much all of these daily habits and our environment actually affect our emotional life as well as our physical well-being. Especially when we take into account the way a woman's body and energy are operating in a cyclical pattern that naturally pulls her to move outward and then to retreat and draw back in towards herself in cyclical flow. And so we live in cyclical bodies, oftentimes in a linear culture. So of course, symptoms are going to arise. Menstrual cramping is going to arise if that woman is highly stressed, undernourished, unable to rest, right? So denying our natural bodily rhythms is not only unsustainable, as we're seeing across the board with stress epidemics and all the like, but it actually keeps us from our power. It keeps us from accessing our true potential, and it keeps us from accessing our joy. So it's really worth mentioning how important it is for a woman to feel that she is rooted in her nature. And this is the heart, really, of my work. It's so important for that woman to feel that she is able to root down into her nature and also into nature itself in some capacity, the natural world, and connect to that aspect in herself that is most primordial, most primal, instinctual, intelligent. Connecting with the earth and nature itself is going to provide physical and energetic nourishment, yes, but this reconnection provides us also with that emotional nourishment, right? So it's remembering that we are actually a part of something bigger, that we are in relationship with all of this, that we belong to something bigger, and that we are inherently worthy of and unconditionally accepted into that web of belonging. So this might seem a little esoteric, a little far out, right? But it's actually not. It's not. It's actually right at the root of what we're getting at here. It's right at the root of our experience. Do we feel that we belong? Do we feel safe in our bodies? Do we feel that our essential needs are met? Do we feel we have the space to become who we truly are, to express ourselves? And do we feel supported and nourished in who we are, in becoming who we are, right? Like, those are not things that we can easily overlook, but it's actually the root of our sense of well-being. Wellness being not just physical health, but emotional health, mental health, all of it coming together. So, although I really don't want to knock on science-based, biologically based modalities, I do believe that there is a need to integrate all of these aspects of our being, and that is at the heart of the holistic approach. And it's this understanding that I think we're actually coming to collectively. Like, yes, we could say that we are returning to ancient ways of being, but we're not really. We're actually co-creating a new future for ourselves. We're living in a new, more evolved wave of wellness. You know, we're not just going to go back to ancient times where we lacked the science, but hopefully we're moving forward, integrating the science with the energetic, with the emotional understandings. So this is the new wave of women's wellness. I love to say that you are at the center of it, and I'm so deeply passionate about this subject. I've definitely been called to make it my life's work, to be of service in this field, and ultimately to just be a safe space for the women who resonate with me to feel comfortable, to meet all of themselves in their healing journey. Because there's nothing less supportive than a sterile environment when we're trying to evolve and grow and nourish, right? Like, take, for example, the woman who's been trying to conceive for 2 years, okay? There's nothing sexy or fertile about a sterile, cold, calculated environment that pokes and prods and treats her body like a mechanism, right? We need to remember this connection to heart and sensuality when it comes to our healing. And really, it's that sensual connection, that connection to our body, specifically our pelvic bowl, the root of us, that is going to be the basis for allowing that naturally arising healing energy to be present. And it's connecting to our bodies again that's going to make a woman resilient and allow her energy to flow really well. So I love to hear your experiences. I think it's really important that there are safe spaces for all of us to speak our experiences aloud and to remember that we're not alone in those experiences if they were perhaps less than ideal. So if you're interested in being held in a circle of women in which you are free to openly share about your experience, where you will be heard, listened to and held in your experiences, whatever they may have been, then do check out the Human Flower Community Circles that I hold on the last Sunday of each month through my Patreon page. So you can join the community tier where you will receive those regular invites to the circles. And by joining that tier, you also support the production of this podcast. So thank you. I'll put the link in the show notes, but just in case you're ready on the browser, it's www.patreon.com/innerswim. So with that, let's just take a moment together to reground. Maybe bringing your hands somewhere onto your body. Offering that part of your body maybe a little massage or a gentle squeeze. And just inviting you into a quiet moment of softness with yourself. Just letting yourself know that you are here, that you are listening, that you are loved and supported just as you are. Maybe you'll have a yawn or a stretch. And now definitely do something that feels really good for your body right now. Maybe have an herbal tea, maybe have a little piece of chocolate, maybe move around a little bit, and do take really good care of yourself. Full permission to take care of yourself. And if you're needing a little extra care, some personalized support, feel free to reach out to me anytime to apply to work one-on-one. I'd love to just chat with you. You can connect with me through my website, www.innerswim.com. And again, I'll put the link in the show notes. So thank you so much, lovely one. Take care, and I hope to see you in our upcoming circle. Until next time, power to that creative force within you, me, and all beings. Jema.